Hey man, hey man, hey shout man, hey skinny. All right, so we back. This is afternoon. Lately I've been, running around before I get home. So I've been having some time to jump on here and, do my little randoms, pop ups, shop ups, and all that. But shout out to everybody. Oh, oh man, what happened? Oh man, my door, my window ain't going all the way up. What in the world? This is live. I gotta get home, fix that. What's up, young? So, well, that's crazy. But anyway, going to the crib. Just wanted to touch in on some stuff and talk about some things was going on around here. And for the most part, a lot of times we don't really like trust or kind of deal with people in a certain way. So that's why we have misinformation. We ain't talking to the right people to help us out. What's good, young? And so we have our issues within the family. We have our issues within our friends. But overall, too was going on. Hey, yeah, sorry about that, y'all, man. My wife called me. April showers, lashes in the building. Sorry, everybody coming through too. See, yeah, my wife just called me, so that's why I was, on there. I had to call, see what's going on with my wife. She called me about some rice. I think we eating oxtails tonight, so she wanted to make sure that the rice and everything is good. So she called me about that. But to the good, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? How you feeling? How you living? Shout out to the weightlifting geek. That's his saying. But like I said, getting into what I was just saying, it's just like that feel. And shout out to Naturally too. I was on her channel earlier, and we was having our discussion. You know, Tamika was going on, and let me go ahead and highlight her channel. So mostly everybody on here is a mod. They have wrenches. If not, I got to go back and look because I never want to have people to a point to where they can't, show their channels. And like we had an awesome stream earlier. Young was over there. Young Riz was over. He was over there earlier, and Shay Love, and I think Thug. That's my first time meeting him, and we just talking about, just the naturalization of the hating and people going against each other. I hope my window down ain't bad, cause I don't know. I think my window just hit off track. I don't know what's going on. They roll up halfway and just stopped on me. But we're gonna keep moving through this though. But shout out to Make This Go By. Now, I'm telling y'all, everybody, y'all want to sit here, do all the stuff like you need to learn about your YouTube. Her crime channel is great. She goes into detail, all the YouTube information, analytics. Like even with me changing the end of my YouTube name to She We Here instead of just the name that's provided for YouTube that they have a couple of numbers and stuff. Uh, she helped me with that. So just looking at her channel, getting information, and lashes as well. Lashes always great, always great. You know, it's gone vegan. Um, Eating, growing her food and eating it. That's always a good thing. You know, shout out to the country girl Queena in the building. Shout out, boss lady, always, always, boss lady. Be checking out her channel. She be doing the exercise and be getting it in. You know, I always shout out my Here for the Grind because I be trying to get people motivated to work out. Even though I ain't been working out that much lately, I have, tried to be here for the grind. But I be trying to get that money, so it's like a push. But they say your health is your wealth, so I still gotta go get it. I'm actually coming home late because, like I say, majority of the time I always trying to create this time for my family while I'm home and stuff like that. What a frugal mama done snuck in here. Okay, I see you. But yeah, uh, let me going all the way back to the top. Naturally, too, I was on her panel earlier and we had a great discussion. Like I said, it was just everything was just hitting on all cylinders. Is the wind coming in too strong? Let me know. But for the most part, it was a great discussion because we all were on the same page, having a great conversation about, the issues that's going on with family. I'm gonna have to go over and get this window straight. Dr. Dunbar, we here. Dr. Dunbar in the video. But we had a great discussion and we were just talking about some things. They can. Okay, there you go. I don't know what happened with that window. I guess I threw it off track when I had my arm on it. But basically, we was talking about some great conversations about people coming in on YouTube and not knowing where they belong, knowing where they fit in, things of that nature, and it gets people to a point to where you'll sit here, come in on YouTube, and you kind of cross over. You know, I think with Shay, I think she was talking more or less about the beef sector, and she crossed over. Same thing with me. I always never say anything wrong about the manosphere because I came in talking with those guys. I really came in the YouTube space with finance first. I always talk about Erica Williams, the Classic Climb, and that was always my thing because if I wasn't on YouTube for looking at car videos, fixing something, building something, that was my main thing. Just looking strictly for those. I didn't know there was a section filled with guys talking about things. I didn't know there was a gardening section. I didn't know there was a section talking about crime. I would always look at documentaries from time to time on there, but my main thing was looking for information that I needed that can help me far as with fixing something or building something. And when I started finding out they had little small documentaries, Vice was always my go-to. Vice had some great documentaries, will help a lot, but then Vice kind of went liberal and started going different ways, And shout out to let everybody know Dr. Dunbar is a writer, He has, participated in the the structure of writing, and check out his channel. He's also Dr. Dunbar himself, the Big Discussion 76, and he talks about science and technology. You know, went to school for science, and his interest piques him to get a lot of kids and everybody just more motivated to being in STEM. So, and shout out always Auntie in the building. You know, Auntie, love your channel. Auntie also is another person that gives a lot of good information on building your channel, knowing some things to, kind of move your channel in the right direction, how to present yourself. Because a lot of times when I used to be in promotion, that was the biggest thing, representation. You know, how do you want to be looked at? That's why mostly I changed my channel when going into a lot dealing with finance and everything. I know it's not a sought after topic for most, but it's at the same time it's needed. So eventually someone gonna get this message and get this work on finance and far as life insurance, because my biggest thing, like I say, I always say, you're gonna get older and you're gonna need that wisdom more than anything to succeed in life. I mean, life is you make it fun, you make it happy, the games and stuff, but eventually you're gonna grow up, you're gonna get older, and you're gonna start looking at life as, what have I been doing all these years? I was talking about this earlier on Naturally Toot's channel about people actually buying a house. But one thing is, anybody can buy a house if they have the right credit score, they have the money for the down payment. But the issue with a lot of people is keeping those houses. You know, to a degree, the issue with a lot is keeping the houses, because you got to understand, buying something like a car, house is one thing, keeping it is another, because you really have to understand, with keeping that house, you got to put in some work. You know, you got to be able to know how to pay your note on time. You know, how to decrease that interest on that house. There's ways of paying your house off in 15 years on a 30-year mortgage. It's ways of paying your house off in 7 years. They have programs now that target principal only. Cuts the interest out. Principal only. They show if you pay your payments one time a year. Well, I mean, on one extra payment a year, you can cut the time off of paying off your house, if you put in that one payment towards your principal, by at least 5 to 7 years, depending on how you work. But that's the thing. You got to be able to know how to do this stuff. That's why I say I do a lot of researching. I do a lot of, okay, I forgot, lashes, I get into my talking and, hit the like. I forgot, I be forgetting I'm a YouTuber. Hit the like, share, subscribe. Most people who come over here, you already sub. So, hey, and another thing I always forget about telling people to do, drop your channels. I don't mind you dropping your channel. I don't mind. That's why I try to give everybody wrenches, to where if you see somebody saying comments or you're interested in their channel, you can go directly to their channel. You know, shout out to April Showers in here. April Showers has a great channel. AP, Absalom Pianca TV, always, shouting out April Showers as his auntie, auntie in the space. But, keeping yourself informed is, always a big part, And I always talk about the structure of family. I always talk about, certain things that we got to do in society. So why play around with it? If we're gonna get to the money, we're gonna get to the money. You're gonna learn how to get to the money. You're not gonna play around, because while you playing and messing around, you got somebody over here really learning and making it a way for them to succeed. So we gotta cut, a lot of times the playing out. And a lot of times you don't have time to play, because it's gonna come a point where it's too late. I've talked to my friends several times, and talked to family members, and while everybody's having fun, I always I always hear this, and I think I did a video on this. I don't know if I remembered or not that I shared, but I'm gonna talk about it. When they say when you're young, you go, you have your fun, you play around, you this and you that. When I was young, I worked. I was work. I pretty much always to the point had multiple jobs, and I had my fun, but I also made money, and I also tried to make as much money as possible. Even when I got a family. As of right now, I took a pay cut by working local and working certain jobs. I took a pay cut, and the only reason I took a pay cut for something that's worth me not making as much money and to do what I want to do more of, just because basically I was just doing spending more money, and that's my kids. Took the issue of being there for my kids. Because I can still make money and be there with them. And that's always a big given. I can give you all my time, but I can't bring more. I can't bring a lot of money to the table. I can bring more money, but I can bring less time to the table. So that's always a decision that most men have to face when providing and having a family. And to a degree nowadays, is women having those same decisions. But majority, like I said, with me being the father and protective provider, that was one of the things I wanted to do, and me and my wife talked about it, was for me to be there more for my kids, for me to stay local, because make it I go out of town, I make way more money, but I can't get those years back. And I told my wife when my boys get to middle school, I was gonna start going back to over the road. They're in the sixth grade now. Kind of itching towards it, but I'm like, stick around a little longer. I might do it by high school because I know they'll be ready. The discipline will be there, the structure will be there. It's just, time waits for nobody. So I don't want to, be a absentee father while I'm in the house, you know. And a lot of times we don't talk about stuff like that. It do happens to a point where you're the father in the house wanting to provide and be there for the kids, but you got to work and make the money. You know, you got to be the breadwinner. You got to be the one that makes sure everything gets provided, get done for right, and it takes time and it takes a toll. And a lot of people, we don't have these discussions like this. We don't have these discussions to where, we start saying that, hey, it's decisions we got to make. I was talking to Underrated and Prince Pierre, the game show host. Y'all go check out Prince Pierre, the game show host, and you check out Underrated Darkness, the number one grinder, over there on their channel. And basically saying, it's to a degree. I don't knock anybody for having a polygamy style relationship. I don't knock anybody for a monogamy style relationship. It's up to the people. You know, that's your life. That's the way you live it. I can only judge by my thoughts, but hey, if you like it, I love it. Ba da ba ba ba. McDonald's. Because at the end of the day, that's not my life. And me and my wife, we work fine like this. We deal with things accordingly, and that's the biggest things that I always wanted to have those conversations with my wife so we can understand what path we're going. A lot of people barely even talk to each other. While you going right, the other person's going left. Like, where's the lines of communication? How can things be set for for doing things right, and nothing is really set in stone. You don't really have things planned out. You don't really talk. So, like I said, you're going right, I'm going left. Like, when are we gonna actually be on the same page? A lot of times we never have these talks. A lot of times it's biggest thing I talk about this every morning now, that we have a relationship with people, but we don't have a relationship with money. The relationship with money is is greatly needed. You know, if we can sit here and look up stats on the divorce rate, we can sit here and look up on stats on how many people get married, how many people are in two-parent household. Why can't we look up the stats on credit card debt? Why can't we look up the stats on how many people get approved for houses? What are the qualifications for houses? I just sit there and talk to one of my friends, and he basically was looking at he don't qualify for a house because of his credit. He qualified. Think dude had like a 840, I mean 640 or something like that. He still qualified. He got all they wanted was make sure you got a down payment. Your credit is kind of rough. We can work through the credit, but we just need to make sure there's no other hiccups besides your credit. Are you're paying your bills on time? So what's going on with your credit? Why it's so bad? I had a repo on there for, well, what was the repo for? What was the issue with this? That's gonna look bad that you had a repo on a car, but we can also work around it because we can show that everything else been paid on time and you were a co-signer on the car. So technically, you can get away with that. See, it's a lot of stuff we don't know, but we gotta talk to people. There's people getting houses with a 580 credit score and putting 20% down on a home. See, we don't know about these discussions because people are doing this. They go into rural areas, getting 2% down, 3% down on the house with a 580 credit score, and coming in there putting 20% down if they want the house. But that's the thing, we never really push this because we just don't know. Nobody knows. Life insurance. Oh man, life insurance is crazy. Life insurance is this. We don't have the discussions. We don't know. Most of the time, life insurance is almost like $1 or 2 a day. You're paying less than you most of the time you're paying less than $40 for term. I mean, which I personally say would get whole life because you can take money out as a loan. Nobody tells us this. That, the whole life, universal life is even better, get more in depth into that, but you can borrow money off your life insurance. You know, it comes like nobody tells you about the fees. No, we don't talk about this. Universal life insurance, IULs. You hear IUL talk all the time. What about the fees with IULs? We don't know. What about getting these homes? Like I said, I know somebody got a house for 580, went to the country, got the USDA rural loan, all the stuff that was on there. They had a lot of money in the account, but just wasn't paying their bills. Just credits bad because it wasn't paying. They wanted all this money to approve them. They got the house still in it, good. I mean, it's people just weird like that. What's going on, Bruce? Bruce in the building. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jack. Bruce, I gotta start coming to your channel more, man, because I be jumping in and out. I like a lot of people underrated. Mark, a lot of the boxing channel, WCS boxing, um, man, that's pads. There's a lot of people I've been learning about in the boxing, through Bruce, through Mark, through Ricky Williams. Man, Ricky jumps from both sides. Ricky talk about the relationship side, and Ricky talks about boxing. So it's a lot of people that I've been introduced. Like I said, there's different sectors on YouTube that I've been introduced to gardening side. You know, Miss T introduced me to Broke Farmer. I think I've been watching Lead Farmer every once in a while because I like the way Lead Farmer talked about farming and stuff like that. Um, there was not a lot of channels I watched. J3, Jigs, J3. I subbed to him because of Miss T with the T. And it's a lot of different channels. Can't Stop Walking. It's a lot of channels I kind of deal with because of the different sectors I go into. Like I said, the whole thing is with the manosphere talk. Hey, you in there, you in there. Any sector. You started in the B sector, you still gonna be known from the B sector. People gonna know you. If they still don't associate with you, they know that's the sector where they found you, they saw you at. So you're gonna be put into that claim to fame of that area that you came in with. And I always tell people I don't have a problem talking about I was over there in the manosphere because you know I only talked about the issues of what most women do. I'm not bashing them and going crazy on them like that because the thing of it was, like I told guys in the manosphere, I'm married, been married going on 16 years. And like I said, I seen the issues that they had, but at the same time though, like me being a married man, I can only just say, hey, it's hard out here for a pimp. With the jokes, but yeah, I mean it's crazy, and the relationship is even worse to a degree. And I always talk to my son, my oldest son. He's 24. I talk to him about relationships. Yeah, my brother, he's what 50, 51, 52. I had to make sure because I'm 9 years older. I mean, younger than him. 9 years young, not older, but young. But the thing is, when it come down, me and him talk about it. So I'm talking from the aspect of 52-year-old about relationship and a 24-year-old about relationship, and it's crazy. Like I always tell my wife, I'm glad I married her when I did. I'm glad I had the elders and different other people talking to me, even though the space would be great for the knowledge. And I always say that, the knowledge, it can combat certain topics and wars all day when it comes to people. The knowledge is the knowledge. And, that's why a lot of times I be on YouTube strictly for the knowledge. Great mean Alonzo. Like I always talk this story about Alonzo. Cut dog, what's going on, man? See you in the building. Um, when I met with Alonzo on Rogers channel, his name was Alonzo Hall. Then he came in as the Blue Blazer. And from the Blue Blazer, he went back to Alonzo Hall, the All Star advisor. I heard him talking. I knew where his stand was. So it wasn't nothing for me to go and get life insurance through him. I already knew about it. I had life insurance. A lot of times I can hear people and discernment like, hey, if I'm already in the industry knowing things about it. A lot of people think I sell life insurance on here because I talk about it so much. A lot of people say, man, we got to get you over here and talk about life insurance, this and that. I said, well, I'm gonna bring the representative that really knows the details about it, and that's Alonzo. you know and that be the thing. Miss Stewart, how you doing in the building? What's going on? I ain't been catching you in the mornings recently. I know you usually go live around the same time. I go live a little bit before me, and I ain't been going live as much, and I haven't been seeing you going live as much in the morning too. But I'm always over checking on people, watching channels. That's the thing. You're only one person. You can kind of watch as many as you can. You know, I go back and watch my favorite YouTubers and stuff, and I go back and just look at their videos, and a lot of people I'm sub to, I watch as well. I go back and look at theirs because you only got so many hours in a day. So a lot of times like I said, around this time right here, I'm normally in the house talking with the kids, checking on their work. I just pulled up, so getting a little time in the car before I go in, but making sure they do their work, man. I honestly like my son. He's getting a little rough in math, and I got him a tutor. I got him a tutor before, and it worked out because sometimes I get a little impatient, with the kids. So tutor helps. You're in this field. You teach. So this is a great opportunity for my son to get ahead. And they out of school. My wife, she makes me go to summer school every year now, since she know that they can go to summer school whether they pass or not. Because back in the day, you didn't have that. Like if you didn't fail, you couldn't go to summer school. Now they got it to where if you want to put your kids in summer school, you can. Like that's like a great thing. Yeah. Yeah, being active on panels to get your name out there, because that's what I normally was doing when I first my had revamped and had a new channel, and it was crazy. You know the crazy part is my old channel. I still got like 36 because I had 37. Somebody unsubbed from it, and it was I was laughing. But I'm not even on that channel no more. And I always try to go back through that channel because there's one lady that I subbed to, and I can't remember her name. I can't find the video that I had, but she actually went through my family tree and showed me my great 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 grandmother. I think it was three times great because I got my great grandma. I knew my great grandmother, Miss Lorena. I knew my great grandma Lorena. I knew my grandma Emma and my great great grandmother. I forgot her name. It's been a while since I read it, seen on there. And that lady, it was shocking. I sent that video to everybody in my family, everybody I can think of, all the way down to Greenville, Georgia. That's a little small town, and found out that's where they settled when they came to Georgia. But my original side of family from South Carolina, and they call it the Geechee tribe, the Geechees, the Indians, and but yeah, and I was like, man, this is like knowing my history and going in depth. I be having the time. If I have the time, I'm going to the Vital Records place, the archives down. They have an archives place down in Clayton County. They moved from downtown to Clayton County, and I'm gonna go there and look up my family history. Like I'm so intrigued because of the elders they passing. I got one more aunt from my grandma's side that's still alive. My two uncles dead. My grandma's gone. My favorite uncle gone. And man, I love that dude to death. That's my favorite uncle. My favorite aunt, that's just my favorite aunt, the last one left. I talk to her when I can, deal with her when I can, because, you can't get that time back. My cousin just passed, and I always talked about how good of a person she was, and considering between her and her brother, those two are my favorite, like cousins. I was always around them when I was young. When I got older, they were stern. They talked to me crazy and get on me. But overall, it was teaching moments. Like I said, I love talking to the elders. I sit there, used to talk with my great grandmother all the time, sit there and watch baseball. People that know me, I don't like baseball. I don't even like basketball for the most part. I like more physical um, sports. I mean, basketball, I like the dunks and stuff, but I like the more football, the wrestling, because I got into that. But other than that, like baseball was never my thing. But I sit there and watch my great grandma baseball all the time, just sitting there quiet. Yeah, third inning. Oh, this is so boring. But she'll sit there, talk with me. We'll have our conversation, looking at baseball, talking about school, talking about girls, and it just was crazy, just sucking in knowledge from her. A lot of times you don't have this no more. These kids don't want to learn nothing from an older person. They think these old people don't know nothing. You know how many times they don't put it across the airwaves? Old people don't know nothing. To a degree, a lot of old people they push bad advice, but the ones that give the good advice, they people pass them by. You know, that's how you retain the knowledge generation upon generation because these older people knew they seen it, they experienced it. Take things for face value. They got receipts they can show you. And stuff is not it's not spreading no more. We don't have the conversations. We don't, really love like we used to. So it poses a question, you know. And a lot of times the elders in the community, man, they just fading away. It's like I love talking to old people, the pillars, man. Like I would sit there and talk to old people. My wife, grandmother, she 94 years old. I sit there and joke and laugh with that old lady all the time. Like that be the biggest thing, getting that wealth of knowledge. A lot of times we don't have that. Can't stop. I was just talking about you earlier. Yeah, I seen your video. Hey man, get you some Skechers, man. Get you some Skechers. Trust me. Ever since I bought Skechers at Ross one time because they were a decent looking shoe, and I wasn't trying to spend a whole lot of money, and I'm being cheap. I still get my Skechers every now and then from Ross, but I will go to the Skechers store, get me some Skechers, and I'm good. Like I went to, I think Rack Room Shoes, they got Skechers in there. I spent like $180 on two pair of shoes. I'm like, take care of your feet. Take care of your feet and them Skechers. Got that art support memory foam. They have the wide shoes. They have flat shoes for people with difficult feet. Like they have like people with flat feet. You know your feet. You don't need that art support. They have those shoes like that. Hey, a wise old man once told me, if you don't take care of your feet won't take care of you. You ain't gonna be able to walk. Just let you know that. You know, I just let you know that. Yeah, I mean, the crazy part, you got uh granddad is almost 45 now. Granddad is be about 45. Granddad about 45, 40 to 45. You a granddaddy now. That's the crazy part. I'd be like, man, I'm telling you, check them sketches out. Change your life, man. Hey, feel like you're walking on air. Start of the day, you come full grip. End of the day, them dogs not barking. You still like, hey man, got a little like when I drive my truck and I sit there and I be moving my feet around, I say, man, usually my feet be hurt. Like I have went through some shoes. I've bought Brooks. Brooks are the most comfortable shoes next to Skechers I've had. Them shoes are amazing. I used to get the Brooks running shoes when I used to run up and down walk boards at moving companies. I used to get me Acers, New Balance. I used to always try to say, well, I'm gonna get these Jordans and working them. I'm gonna get nope. I learned as a young man dealing around older men. Take care of your feet. If you're gonna get some cheap shoes, make sure they comfortable. Make sure they comfortable. And so I stay getting, decent shoes for my feet. Now I just don't care. I'm like, man, them shoes 80, 100 some dollars. I'm buying them. I got a pair of boots in the back, right? No, they at work. I left them at work. I've been waiting on these steel toe boots to go down. I think they what is it? I forgot the name of them. But these boots are like, I think, what is the name of that top brand? Red Wings, and it's another big name boot. Oh, Red Wings. I want to say not Delco. It's some dirt something. But these boots are expensive. When I looked the boots up, they about $250 or something like that. Ross, I think that was TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx had these boots in there for $98. I waited all the way till the boots got to 67 dollars last time. I waited till they got about 50, and I said, well, I'm gonna buy them next time I come here because they got about 12 pair in there. I don't know who came in there. They bought all the boots. I couldn't get them. So this time when I got them at 60 something, I went on and bought them. I done had them boots going on, I want to say 4 years now, 3, 4 years. I haven't tore a hole in the boots. They don't look right. I can wipe them off and they look just as new. I brought them out the box. Yeah, red. Yep. Red Wings. Yep. They similar to them. And them shoes. I think they cat something. They like Doc Martin shoes, but they have like a clear, thick bottoms, like Martin. Just like them, it's another brand too. But them boots, I done had these boots, rain resistant, all in the water, stepping in puddles. They got the steel toe on the front, and it's not like the one with I think the metal. I don't think it has metal in there. It has like some type of fiber. I don't know, but basically it doesn't have the steel in it, but it has it to the arch on there where your toe is like crunch proof to a degree. And man, I'm talking about those boots. They comfortable. They are comfortable too. Only time I wear those boots in the wintertime or when it's raining because I don't want my feet to get soaked. Because most of the time I have these shoes that insulated with air vents in them. All my Skechers pretty good. They look my Skechers are always they casual looking shoes. I be working them out. They got some work looking Skechers too. I get a couple of them, but mainly the casual looking ones and they brown leather work killing them. Telling you, Skechers are good. We're gonna turn this into a feet show right now. What David Corey is? David Corey the cropper. That's a guy I met over there in the gardening section. That guy be growing up a storm. But he talk about feet. He talk about feet. Love feet. Yeah, but like I said, just we gotta have these conversations sometimes. Sit down and think. Like back in the day, man, it was cool. Like my kids now, my 12 years, I got twin boys, man. I be trying to keep them guys out of so much trouble. One of my partners, Khalid, he sit there and keep his son in so much. They got a son in a bowling league. And I say, boy, I know that boy don't like it. He said, I know, but man, I gotta keep him busy. He always on the phone. Then, I hear these things about these kids meeting girls and boys meeting the girls and the girls meeting boys. And a lot of time it be some catfish stuff. I remember one time I seen a video with a woman dressed up as a burglar and grabbed the daughter, and the daughter thought she was meeting some little sexy fine boy. And she was like, I trained you better than this. And the girl was crying and she was scared because when she grabbed her, another guy came out and she knew she was gone. She just knew she was getting raped or something like, well, raped and stuff. But, it came down to it. She was safe. It was her mom. They catfished her. And the first thing, your parent always say, never my child wouldn't do this. But that's the thing. Like I always say, there's kids raising kids. Once that child leaves that house, everything that parents tell them goes out the window. I was that child like that. I would sag my pants. My grandmother didn't never know I had gold teeth until one day I was running in the house and I made a mistake and left them in. I had pullouts, all silver, six at the top with the fangs on there, sharp fangs, look like a vampire. Had them teeth in high school, and I say this, I'm about to get ready to get off too. One of my teachers, she told me if you don't take, I think I had got them teeth when I was in 10th grade, ninth, like I think middle ninth grade, yeah, something right, ninth to 10th grade. But she told me if I didn't take my gold teeth out and cut my hair because I had long hair, I was depending on doing the dreads. I just always had plaits and braids. She said, "Yeah, Wu Tang forever, baby." But she told me if you don't cut your hair and take your gold teeth out, I'm going to fail you. I say, you can't do that. And she said, why not? I say, my grade point average speak for itself. I'm a well educated athlete. I don't get in trouble. So it'll be a disservice to you to fail me because of my gold teeth. What's going on, Shay? Just was talking about you earlier on Naturally Two channel, but I told him, I said, man, you can't fail me because of my appearance. And the teacher, she was right. She said, you don't look the way you act. She said, I got kids in here. I'm failing because they really failing. I'm gonna fail you because you acting something that you're not. I said, this is my environment. I act the way I want to according to my environment and to, you know, just being me. This is my way of, acting out or expressing myself. You can't get mad because I want gold teeth and, I have plaits or dreads or wild out and stuff. I'm not acting up in your class. I'm not a behavior kid. You know, it just, this is my environment. This, like, I was a good kid, but outside, you look at me, you thought I was America's Most Wanted. I hung around a lot of bad kids. I did some bad stuff, I admit, but At the same time, though, it was respectable because I already knew I didn't want to shame my grandma and them. There was some things I did I wasn't proud of, but at the same time, most of the teachers knew. They was like, why do you look like this? Why do you act like this? Like, while I look every now and then, but at the same time, looks can be deceiving. And I told that teacher, I said, you judging me worse than the police and everybody else, and that's what backed her off of me. I said, because I'm black with gold teeth, I'm another statistic. And she said, no, I don't want to look at you like that. I said, but you are. I said, I haven't been disruptive in your class. I haven't did anything for you to come at me like this, but you want me to conform to the way you want me to look. And that's not right and that's not fair. So when it got down to that, it was easily settled that, hey, even though I act the way I act, even though I come across as being this wild individual, you know, I'm a good kid, you know. I I lettered in 3 sports, track, wrestling, and football. I did football for 3 years. I did wrestling for five. I did was a football for four, wrestling for five because high school was 8th grade. But got into wrestling, love that sport. Got second my state second in wrestling my senior year. And like right now I'm finna be honored. One of my coaches called me and told me to pay for my money. He wanted me to pay for my own banner and stuff. I didn't mind doing that. I got all my friends up that got their places and we all got banners and I'm taking pictures of it. I might have to just crop out my last name. I mean, which I just don't want these haters, Other than that, if this YouTube was just so perfect, I would just put my whole name up there. I'm gonna put my year I graduated and stuff, but like it's crazy. Like you gotta hide some of these things because these crazy people come back. Hey man, look at this and oh with that. We talked about that earlier, Shayla. You got the people come to your channels, want to support you, and go back to the crew and hate on you from above. But like I said, that's just what it is. That's the way we live now. And I grew up good grades, good kid, did well. I wasn't always good, goody two shoe, but I did well. I maintained. After that, got into the workforce, and I kind of regret myself not going to college. That's why I kind of pushed my son, my oldest son, and my daughter, then my two youngest about going to college because I had a partial scholarship, but I looked at the money as like, yeah, I could have went to school and got an education in something that I wanted to do, but at the same time though, I was out of high school making $40,000, so I'm like, I don't know how school can compete with that. Before, like I always not really too much talk about it, but almost what 4 or 5 years out of high school, making over 50, $60,000. Like, and then I started learning how to control to where I can budget myself to control how much I get paid yearly with this job. Like, and then when I started driving, I started making more money. Like, it wasn't even an option anymore. Like, am I gonna go to college? I know I can long term. College was a better investment and everything, depending on the career. Ism with the ism with the wisdom. What's going on, ism? But the biggest thing for me was, me enjoying life and having fun and in the so-called pursuit of happiness. And then, like I say, with me wanting to have a family, hey, what's going on my kids? Sunday backyard farmer. See, like I say, this is one of my family members from the farming community that I follow. Went to the Soil Family Expo, met him over there. Nice brother. Y'all go check out his channel. Matter of fact, you know what I always do? Just making sure everybody had their rich. Ism, I don't even know how you ain't got no wrench, man. What's going on? What is going on? Hey man, that's astronaut she. You know, I got this AI art generator app, and I think I paid like 14 or something. I don't forgot how much I paid for the year, but then you pay, I think it's $3 for 10 pictures and five for 50. But you pay so much for the pictures, and you generally can get some different art. Let me see if I can change it. Nope, it won't let me change while I'm in here. But I got that one. I got one with a brim. I think I'm gonna show all of them. I got a couple. If you look at my community tab, I got about two of them on there. I got one with my wife. They did like the caricatures and stuff like that. I got one with a nice old brim on there. I gotta, put some more out there. But yeah, that's the astronaut sheet. You know, but like I said, getting back into life, like honestly, I love my life, love my wife, love my family, love how things going. And I always told my wife, I say, she said, man, if I would have went to college and did this, and she's like, do you regret not going to college? I said, nah, because then I would have never met you. And she's like, we might would have. I said, nope. I say, honestly speaking, the path I was going, if I would have went to college and pursued that career and got into that field, I would probably have not been in America much longer because, I like fashion and business. So I probably would have started a company dealing with fashion. And I already know the best places to go were the fabrics. Kanye talked about this, going to Europe, going to different other countries. America is the foundation, going to China, possibly, making my base out of China because of the work where I can get the clothes for cheap, send them back to America, have a warehouse. Like everything is planned. It got to be planned and processed. Like I already told my wife, I said we probably would have never met. She's like, well, that nah. You can say if it was meant to be in that destiny stuff. Everything happens for a reason. Stars align for a reason. Stars just don't all of a sudden say, hey, let's get together. Let's nah. They align for a reason. you know. And when it comes down to it, like I told my wife, me having twins, it was a blessing because the crazy part is a lot of people that know, like me and my brother, we 10 months apart. And every time I tell people that, the first thing they always say, man, yo, daddy was busy. Your daddy was busy, busy. And, my name Rashid, his name Rashad. So when I had my twins, everybody, I'm talking about all my coworkers, my family didn't say it, but all my coworkers and all my friends was like, "Man, you should name your kid Rashid Jr. and Rashad." I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm not gonna do that." They was like, "Y'all already got the name, you might as well." And it was crazy because I would have named my first son my first son Rashid after me, and my second son, and which is complete opposite because my second son that came out as a twin, he looks more like me. And I was sitting there just crying, laughing. But I mean, it's funny, like me having twins, and me and my brother having so close. But twins run on my wife's side. But here nor there. Shout out to Broke Farmer. Um, but like I said, just getting on YouTube, talking to a lot of people, finding these different communities. You know, uh, Miss T, shouting out to her, get me in with a lot of different. Hey. Hey man, get it in, boy. Get it in. Hey, everybody be cracking up laughing at that. We 10 months apart. I was born in he was born in December, and as soon as the wound was healed, I came again in October. He was born at the end of December. I was born at the beginning of October. They was like, man, your daddy was not playing, boy. I was like, hey man, start talking about my dad and my mama. But I mean, hey, that's how you get it in. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. Need to go ahead and check on these kids and they work, see if they've been doing they work for their tutor and stuff, and kiss the wife, go make another baby. I'm just playing. No more kids. No more kids. But for the love of it, man, you gotta understand family, friends. I mean, if the relationship's in the card, it's in the card. If it's not in the card, it's just not in the card. You know, like I said, for a lot of people like that thumbnail, go to that AI generator. I think it's called AI art generator. It's got a big old A and the I, and it has like green around it with turquoise, and just AI art generator. And like I say, it's a subscription page. You pay for it. You get different kind of art. And the thing is, you put your regular pictures in, and it generates the art for you. So like I said, I got a lot of more I'm gonna be dropping, showing, but I got some on my community tab. Go look at that. But once again, like I always say, we here, we gone.